What is up, MMA fans? This is Do Gyeom Lee for Sherdog.com, and today I have the pleasure to talk with Professional Fighters League featherweight fighter, Mr. Boston Salmon. Hello, Boston. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you today?
I'm fine as well. Thanks for asking. I'm noticing that you're blurring the background. That's fine. No worries. But where are you right now?
We're currently in Texas, Arlington.
Are you already? Of course. Are you already in Texas, right?
Yes, sir.
How was your trip to Texas?
It was great. Not too far of a travel, 2.5 hour flight. So it's cool. It's cool being here in Texas. I spent some time in Houston and I like Dallas a lot better.
You're there, of course, since you're scheduled to face Sheymon Moraes on April the 28th. May I ask you a few questions about your camp? And the first one, of course, where have you done or where have you spent your training camp?
All my training is done at Extreme Couture, and I do my strength and conditioning with Dion Hodges, Coach Manny Quincy at Movement Fitness. It's a gym about 20 minutes away from Extreme Couture, and then at Extreme Couture, I train under Coach Jimmy Gifford, Eric Nixick, Dennis Davis, and Nate Pettit.
You fought in March, and shortly after you were announced that you would fight on the upcoming PFL 2 card. Did you have the chance, I don't know, to take a little break in between these fights?
No breaks. I kind of knew what I was getting into before the fight. Any way you put it, right? If when I won the Challenger Series, it didn't necessarily mean that I was in the PFL tournament. So I wanted to stay ready, and just in case any fights came up. And then even prior to fighting for Challenger Series, I told myself that whatever route that I take, I was going to fight as much as I can this year. And if it worked out my way, then hopefully I'd be with a bigger organization, right? And if it didn't, I'd probably give up fighting and think of another career. So it kind of worked out for the best. The fact that I'm with PFL and a great organization, and it's tournament style. So if all goes well, I'll fight another 4 times this year, right? So that's great news.
Fingers crossed for you, of course. I was a little bit surprised when you told me that you were considering retiring and switching careers. But I'm guessing here 2021 was kind of rough for you, right? I mean, you were supposed to fight 4 times, and all those fights fell off the card for one reason or another. What did you think about that?
And that's part of why I've contemplated retiring from fighting. I keep telling myself, my girlfriend, how much longer can I do this to my body until you just give up. It's hard on your body, it's hard on your camp, it's hard on my girlfriend at home just to be doing the things that I do and not be financially stable with it, right? Fighting, I mean, obviously us fighters should get paid a lot more, but man, being in the gym, just, we take a lot of abuse, from punching, from grappling. We put a lot of strain on our body. And I just kept telling myself, I'm 31, which, I'm in my prime, but how long can I be doing this if it doesn't financially make sense, right? I want to have a family. I want to have kids, I want to have a career. And at the time, fighting just didn't make sense. I was going to fight on the lower scene just to prove myself. And it just kind of made no sense. And I had 5, it wasn't on paper, but I think 5 fights fell through, and that's just mentally taxing on myself, so I'm thankful and I'm blessed to be at the PFL, and I'm excited to showcase my talent and let them know that I'm here for the long run. I'm here for the $1 million tournament.
Yeah, of course, I was going to ask you about that. I believe, the fact that you have a chance to compete and fight for a $1 million prize was quite tantalizing for you when you decided to try yourself in the Challenger Series, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And what did you think about the fact that you had to go through Challenger Series at the time to earn your contract with the PFL?
If you want my honest opinion, I was kind of not disrespected, but I just felt like I needed to prove myself, and I totally understand that too. People know what I the resume that I had before, right? But I came off of 2 losses in the UFC at 135, and then COVID hit, and then I took a fight when the first card for LFA, and then I fight what's his name?
Sean West, I believe.
I fight Sean West. You know, it's the first card that LFA puts through COVID. I take the fight. We fought at 150. I fought at 35. You know, almost my whole career. Take the fight at 150, and that was on my part. It was short notice, and I'm winning the fight, and then I get hit by a legal knee that could have possibly changed my whole life. You know, I'm fortunate. I'm very blessed that I was able to stay healthy and just keep my head straight. You know, that was a lot for me, just mentally and physically, and to sustain an injury like that was a lot. You know, of course I had questions about fighting again, you know, and if I was even able to be healthy, you know, and I was able to overcome all those obstacles, and I made it clear that I wanted to fight. I took the right time off. I made some decisions where I needed to change things up. You know, I brought in different coaches. I have a different management at the now. And I just needed to tighten some things up. Just as, you know, if I was going to give this another run, I wanted to be all in. And look where we're at right now. We have the opportunity to fight for PFL, that tournament. And I couldn't be more thankful.
At Challenger Series, things go according to plan. You defeated Do Gyeom Lee via TKO at the end of the second round, I believe. Yeah. Was that the way you expected, you know, to defeat your opponent?
He missed weight that fight, and for some reason I just knew he was going to quit. He gave up. You know, whenever you miss weight like that, and I see you physically, and I look in your eyes, and you don't look depleted, I just knew you gave up mentally, right? And that's just kind of the vibes that I got from him. You know, I'm like, man, this guy missed. It was almost 3 pounds that he missed weight. You know, didn't want to go back, didn't want to cut more weight. So for me, you've defeated yourself, right? We're all professionals. You got to come in, you have to make weight. And I just kind of got that vibe from him. And I knew if it went further on the round that he was going to give up and he's going to quit. Not saying that he did quit. He wanted to fight, right? But his jaw was broken and he couldn't go on. And I wanted the fight to go differently. Obviously, I was hoping that it went to the 3rd round because I felt like I was finally getting warm in that fight. You know, first round was cool, could have went anyway. Second round, I started picking it up. 3rd round, mentally, I was like, damn, like this fight is in my hands right now. You know, I'm going to finish him. And then he wasn't able to come off the stool. I broke his jaw, and they waived the fight.
And eventually, you were rewarded with a contract, right?
Contract, yes.
Yeah, on
that contract didn't necessarily mean that I was in the tournament, right? A lot of people were assuming that I was in the $1 million tournament. That wasn't the case. That just kind of mean that I was on the roster, right? Movlid, the current champion, or the champion from last year, ended up getting injured, and I basically took his spot because there was an opening. So I got back in. I fought on Friday. I got back in the gym on Monday, and that's when I got the news from Ray Seffel was that, hey, you're in the tournament. Do you want to take it? I'm like, 100%. He's like, well, you're going to fight in a couple of weeks. I'm like, this is what I signed up for. Let's go. Let's do this.
In your PFL stint, you decided to move up a division, since I believe most of the MMA fighters recall that you fought at 135. May I ask you, how do you feel your body responding to your decision to move up a division?
Tudor, that's a great question that a lot of you guys don't really ask me. You know, people kind of make remarks about me not having a chin, you know, being done, like not being able to fight. I took 2 losses, right? I took 2 losses in the UFC. There weren't knockouts, there were TKOs, right? I wasn't knocked out, you know, I was aware of what was happening. I was still able, I wanted to fight, but I was depleted. I had nothing in my body. I couldn't perform. No one ever talked about me fighting at a weight that I couldn't perform at, you know. They only see the victories and the highlights at 135 of me knocking people out, you know. And then I take 2 losses in the UFC at 135, and then, oh, this guy's done. He can't take a punch. He took too many hits. that first fight at Kalataha, I took one shot that put me down, and I took maybe 3 shots on the ground. You know, it wasn't like I took any damage in that fight, right? That fight with Randy Costa, same thing. I didn't really take any damage. I was leading on the fight, you know, I was the aggressor, and then I got caught. I was on the ground, and that was, I mean, not to say it was a premature stoppage, but like I didn't really take any damage in those fights. Now you fast forward or you rewind to the Sean West fight. That was the most damage I've ever taken in my whole career, was that knee, you know. And prior to that, it wasn't like I took any shots to my head, you know. I was leading that fight, I was winning that fight, and that knee, you know, obviously that knee was devastating, and that can change anybody's career, you know. That knee would have knocked out Francis Ngannou. It was an illegal fucking knee. I was clearly on the ground, you know. He knew what the rules were. There was no argument made to back himself up and say, oh, I thought this and that. You know you're wrong, you know. You know he was wrong at that time. And I'm just thankful I'm healthy now, you know. I can't look back and be like this and that, you know. I took the right time off and I'm healthy. But I've struggled to make weight every fight since the beginning of my career. You know, I don't understand why I ever made the transition to 35. I can't remember why. But if you look at my career with boxing, or let's backtrack to when I wrestled in high school. I wrestled at 145. Originally, I should have wrestled at 140. I played football. I was 140 soaking wet playing football, you know. When I competed for boxing, I fought at 152, right? The weight class below that was 141. And at the time, I didn't know proper nutrition, you know, but that was actually like my natural weight. And I would actually cut weight to make 152, you know, whether it was 2 pounds, 3 pounds, I would still cut weight to make 152. And my first fight in amateur was at 145. My second fight was at 145. And my third fight for the Tough Enough title was at 150, you know. And then my pro debut for RFA was against Persio Frieza. That was at 145. And then every fight after that been, you know, I made the transition to 35, and it's been a struggle. Fight camp, it's been taxing. You know, I just never felt like I could perform. And even at the time, I was young. I was able to perform and just slowly get by and show a little of what I was made of, right? And to backtrack to now, I'm just happy that I have the opportunity to fight at 145 and show people who I am, you know. And that last fight with Challenger Series showed that I can compete at 45. I'm able to take a fucking shot on my chin at 145. You know, I'm durable, and I have power in my hands. You know, I'm able to put guys away. So I'm just excited. So to look back and have all those critics critique me, I don't know what happens in the future. Anything can happen, right? We're fighting with, what is it, 4-ounce gloves. Any punch, any kick, any knee can change your life. I understand that, you know, but the fact that I'm able to perform at 145, healthy, fast, strong, mentally, my mind's clear, you know, I have a good camp, I have good management. I'm excited, man. People don't see that part and that side of me, right?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I understand. And actually, you seem quite rejuvenated, you know, from
Yes.
moving up.
So thank you for bringing up that question, because a lot of people that, you know, interview me don't really bring that up. They just kind of look at my 2 losses, the illegal knee and this and that, you know. So thank you for bringing up that question, because you know, that means a lot in my career, and I think it's gonna play a pivotal point to these next fights.
How do you see your upcoming fight with Moraes going down?
Anything can happen. Anything can happen. He's a great striker. He has power in his both hands, and he's a Muay Thai fighter, right? If there's anything that stands out in this fight, I think it's the speed. And the speed doesn't even match. I'm way faster than this guy. My footwork is a lot better, you know. Looking at the whole tournament, I probably have the least fights. So obviously I'm going to be an underdog, right? I'm 8-3. Most people in that tournament have almost 20 fights, and I totally understand that. But I like my odds leading up to this fight. I love my chances. You know, if there were prop bets like you do in football or soccer, you know, when you have the prop bets before the season starts, I would love the odds. You know, if I'm that big underdog, I love my odds winning that tournament.
Boston, have you already picked your walkout song?
I did. I wasn't. This was kind of like right off the back. I got in, and then I had an interview with Eduardo. I didn't even think about it. I'm like, because usually that happens like within a month, you kind of email them whatever walkout song, right? He kind of put me on the spot. I'm like, damn, shit, I didn't even think about this. So I'm coming out to Shaggy, Mr. Boombastic.
Oh, very, very nice. Of course, boom, boom. Okay, Mr. Boomba.
Yes, sir. Different
Very
vibes.
nice.
Yeah, I like it.
I like it too. Baston, I finished my question. Before I let you go, do you have any last message?
Just thank you for the continued support from everyone that follows me and, you know, believes in me. Thank you to all my teammates. I got Khalil out here. He's another fighter. Khalil Meheula, he's one of the fighters from Hawaii as well. He's been helping him out with this camp and my last camp with Do Gyeom Lee. I got Kai Kamaka. I got all my teammates back home. There's a list that I can't name. There's just a lot of fighters out there that, you know, that play a big factor in my career. My girlfriend back home, she's the biggest support system. You know, without her, none of this is possible. My coaches, Jimmy Gifford, Eric Nixick, Dennis Davis, Nate Pettit. Thank you guys. The ability to train at Extreme Couture under Randy Couture's gym, you know, it's the best gym in Las Vegas. I couldn't be more thankful to have a great facility with coaches there. You know, couldn't do it without them. I have a great management team under Jason House, Jacob Parga, Lance Baude, Jeremy Luchao. Just a great support system, you know, a great management team, you know, whenever questions that I have, any problems that I have, I'll send out one text and I'll get a response, you know, and just very thankful for them for giving me the opportunity to revive my career again, you know, because I was as a fighter, you have your highest highs and you have your lowest lows. And I was at the lowest peak of my career, you know, coming off of that illegal knee, you know, for them to give me an opportunity and believe in me instead of looking at me like, no, this guy's done. He just got knocked out from an illegal knee. Like, I don't want anything to do with that, you know. There wasn't a question from that one time I had that meeting with Jason House when I considered new management, you know, and he did not second guess me once. Lance Spot had been on my side from day one, just getting me from, you know, local fights and believing in me. You know, these guys see me in the gym, they know what I'm capable of doing. And I'm just glad that I'm here and I'm able to perform and show people what I'm capable of doing at 145 for PFL. And also thank you for PFL, the whole staff. Couldn't be more thankful for them. They run a smooth show. And I'm just very thankful for, you know, the guys there with starting from Ray Cephalo and below them with Ed. Thank you guys very much.
Baston, mahalo. Thank you very much for giving me a little bit of your time today. Best of luck with your upcoming fight. Hopefully, I will hear again from you in the future.
Thank you, Turas. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
You too. Goodbye.